punta? Uy! Kakaloka. Hello guys! Our topic for today is all about sugar. This one green color. Wow! Cherries. Okay. Atong dakon sugar. You love this, right? Very beautiful topic. Sugar, I love it. Okay. Things like that. So this belongs to the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates will break down into sugars, and mainly carbohydrates composed of the glucose sugar. Okay. Carbohydrates. Okay. So if we know carbohydrates, we have the high carbs or high carbohydrates. Okay, meaning high digestible carbohydrates. If we say low carbs, meaning low carbohydrates or low digestible carbohydrates. That is in terms of digestion, how it will be digested. Okay, get the point. So that's why high carbs on low carbs. Now, high carbs, okay. High carbs. Carbs is an abbreviation of carbohydrates. Okay, it's not really precise, just for the purpose to make it quick. But if you need to be precise, that's high carbohydrates, perfection. Okay, but due to sometimes we are very lazy to make it short, to make it quick. So we will say like that, only high carbs, low carbs, like that, okay? So high carbohydrates or high carbs. Let's abbreviate. So to save also the ink and the space. Okay? We need to say high digestible, meaning the ability of how it's being digested inside our body. Digestible carbohydrates. So these are all talking about all kinds of rice. All kinds of rice. Whether it's a yellow rice, red rice, like that. But brown rice a little bit, but it's still considered also. All kinds of rice. But it's better than the white, the brown, but still under this category also. All kinds of, okay, rice. Then we have the bread. Okay, what do you call this one? The white bread. Okay, the white bread. Okay, things like that. And then we have also the French fries. Okay, French fries. Okay, mga high carbs kaini. Okay, what else? Kaboosh. But I don't know what's the English of kaboosh. Okay, things like that. What else? There's a lot, guys, no? But and etc. etc. Okay. Okay. Low carbs. This is for diet people. Okay. Low carbs, we have, let's say, the grain, GRAN. Okay, the grain family. So what's that all about? For example, beans, string beans, like that. What else? And then the wet products, the wet bread, like that, or coming from the oats, OATS, meaning we have oatmeal. So coming from the oats, things like that. What else? Peanuts. Okay. Okay, get the point? So, group of grain, whatever, things like that. So, under niya dari ari. Okay. So, low carbs here. Okay? And etc. Okay, things like that. And other fiber-rich food. Fiber. rich food. This includes yogurt, right? Things like that. Yogurt is good for the health, for our bacteria, good bacteria. Okay? So, can you see now? Wow. Okay. So, wet bread. Okay, things like that. And the brown bread, a little bit better than the white bread, but it's still almost closer. Okay? In oatmeal like that, okay? Or let's say Quaker oats, whatever. Get the point? Okay. And other fiber-rich food. So the fiber-rich food are those, low digestible carbohydrates. Okay. Okay, because instead of stacking that in our smaller intestine or the small intestine, it will go that not directly, it will go more on the large intestine. Okay, this fiber rich, and this will be the food of our bacteria, biome family. Okay, things like that. The positive bacteria or the good bacteria. Okay, because all people have bacteria inside our body. Okay, and these are the bacteria that are very useful to fight body's infection, especially fighting these antigens. Okay, this let's say virus, bacteria, okay, parasites, worm, things like that. Okay, get the point mga palangga kong hitad. Okay, muna mo gina siya. Okay, see. High carbs and low carbs. So these high carbs and low carbs both will yield sugar. And this is glucose, C6H12O6. Okay. Glucose is very active. It will go to our bloodstream because all vital organs need glucose to survive. You get the point? Things like that, to be processed for another synthesis or reaction to be converted later on to protein, which is our source of energy. Get the point? Things like that. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. So meaning to say, the C6H12O6 will carry the flag of all the sugar family. And that's why C6H12O6 also is called a blood sugar. Okay? Meaning the glucose in the blood. That's why blood sugar. Okay? Erase. Hala? Yes, nakakaloka ha. Wait for our mga palangga. Chars. Okay? Charles, wait. Erase this all. Okay. For our guys ha. Kaluka. Diba? Sorry guys, I used the permanent marker, but based on my research, it will be erased by a liquid soap solution. Because ink has unshared electrons, and then that is highly polar, and then the soap solution also is polar. So the electrons will react to each other. That's why the ink will be removed by using the liquid soap solution. See, it's removed, right? That's chemical reactions between the liquid soap solution and the ink, the permanent ink. Right? See? It's removed. Right? So ink plus liquid soap solution, then it will be removed. Because that's permanent ink. I did not use the, I forgot. I used the, the permanent marker. Get the point? Okay. But anyhow, it can still be erased. Another also is the acetone. Acetone also is polar, things like that. Okay. Polar molecule. Water also, because there's water also here. So it will remove the permanent ink. So again, chemical reaction. Okay. See? So it's already removed all. Okay. But I'll never look for this, guys, ha. I'll just try, okay, anything, because my idea before is only acetone that can remove the permanent ink. Then I keep on trying like that. I try also the toothpaste like that, or anything in my kitchen. Then I found out the liquid soap solution can remove. Okay. It looks like I did my experiment. See? Perfect. Right? Perfect. Chemical reactions. Diba? So it will remove the permanent ink by just using the liquid soap solution. Okay, guys. Remove na completely. It's all my fault, right? I forgot really that was a permanent ink. Perfect. Ganon. Diba, guys? Na-remove na nato, no? This will be our final round. Of our cleaning of our whiteboard, which is very small, right? Then, wow, I love it. Can you see? It's very clean. Perfection at its finest. Okay, I can discuss now about carbon. Char. Okay, charming. Things like finish na. Diba? Ready na tanga mo discuss karon, no? Okay. Okay. Hello, guys. Hello, everybody. I'm coming back. Let's discuss about the sugar family. Okay. Now, we start with glycogen. Okay. So, glycogen is the storage house of all the glucoses inside our body. So, glycogen. Okay. What's the formula of glycogen? glycogen. Formula is 14 atoms of carbon. Okay, things mo ba na siya? So 24. Wait. And then hydrogen 42. And then oxygen is 21. 24 atoms of carbon, by the way. Okay? So, glycogen, 24 atoms of carbon, 42 atoms of hydrogen, and 21 atoms of oxygen. Okay. It's the source of all the glucoses inside our body, so that the insulin hormone and the glucagon hormone from our pancreas will need to convert the glucose sugar to become our energy. Okay? So it's used the sugar to convert that as our energy in our daily life. So that's the purpose of this insulin hormone and glucagon hormone. What's the difference between insulin hormone and glucagon hormone? Actually, these hormones are found in our pancreas. But the only difference, glucagon is in the initial stage, in the primary cells or the alpha cells. Okay? I don't have to write because, you know, the space is not enough to write everything in a whiteboard. So just listen, okay? So the alpha cells will produce the glucagon hormone, and then it will stimulate later to the insulin hormone in the beta cells. Things like that. Since the insulin is the last, he carries the flag to regulate the glucose levels of our bloodstream in our human body. Things like that. You got the point? Okay. So that's why this is the responsibility of our insulin hormone. Okay. What is the formula of insulin hormone? Number 2. So insulin. So this is related to sugar because insulin is very powerful for this. Okay, get the point? If there's no insulin adequate level, then all people will be suffering from cardiovascular diseases, like the atherosclerosis, the hardening of the artery in your heart, then the blood flow circulation is very poor, then weight gain, like that, obesity, the bloating of the stomach, things like that, and the hyperglycemia, okay, hyperinsulinemia, things like that. Then if that is the case also, if we have poor insulin level, then it will raise also our glycemic index. Okay, because this glycemic index is really the identification of the food we eat, how it will spike the pressure of our blood. So the lower the glycemic index, meaning to say, the chance is we don't really have a high blood pressure. So we need to choose the food that has lower value of glycemic index, okay, not less than 55 and not over 70 also. Now, index. What do you mean by index? Meaning a fraction, a ratio. So there's no unit. Okay? Things like that. From 1 to 100 is the value of glycemic index. So you can determine really if you're gaining weight, if that is the case, if you don't consider the glycemic index intake. Okay? You get the point? So, insulin. And take note, guys, why this insulin is very important. You will be shocked. Charot, oy. You will be shocked with the formula. Okay. Carbon, 257 atoms. Imagine, our insulin hormone needs 257 atoms to maintain the regulation of this, let's say, protein, carbohydrates, lipid, like that, for its proper metabolism. That's also the function of insulin, not only for regulating and maintaining the blood glucose levels in our blood or in our human body. Okay? Things like that. And also, there's secondary functions also. So this facilitates the transport of this extracellular or intracellular insulin. Okay? I-transport ni siya, guys, dito sa mga insulin-dependent organs like the, let's say, the cells, the tissues, into our liver, like that, into our adipose tissues, like that, and everything, the muscles. So it will be distributed there. Okay, things like that. So that's why 257 atoms of carbon in insulin. And hydrogen is always higher than the carbon atoms. So 383. Oxygen. How many atoms of oxygen? 77 atoms. So imagine, if there are 77 atoms of oxygen from our insulin, it could also help for proper insulation for our oxygen that we breathe from the atmosphere and from coming from the water also. So any substances that have oxygen, it will help for the inhalation because there's the presence of oxygen atoms. It doesn't mean only that our inhalation is basing only for the oxygen we gain from the atmosphere. Also from the water and other substances that compose of oxygen atoms in their chemical formula. Okay, that's the reason that if we don't drink a lot of water, sometimes we will be survive because the substance itself have oxygen. You get the point? If you try to analyze that, also take 1 week, take 5 days, if you can really survive without water. Okay, because other food have oxygen level. Okay, things like that. You get the point? Okay, then the next will be nitrogen. 65 atoms of nitrogen. Oh, so many. So the nitrogen from the insulin will be taken out to produce DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid for our genes. So that's very important, right? So we should take care of our insulin hormone. So that's why we don't need to eat every time this, high carbs and sugary substances. Okay. Phosphorus, 6 atoms of phosphorus. Meaning to say, this also can help our skeletal and bone health. Phosphorus. With phosphorus, calcium and vitamin D will collaborate and work together to maintain the health of our bones and our skeletal, okay, in our body. The 3, calcium, vitamin D, and phosphorus. Okay, where you can get this phosphorus? Of course, from the sunlight, going to the plants. Okay, and going to the animals, and we eat. We are carnivore, We are carnivore and we are also herbivore. Meaning to say we eat meat. We eat also vegetables. That's why herby, meaning herbal plants. Okay, human beings are both carnivore and herbivore, except to those vegetarian. Okay, now these animals and plants have also phosphorus. That's why the insulin hormone have also phosphorus because it's also coming from the food we eat. Okay, in this chemical formula, but evidence, right? We cannot deviate because it's really written in the chemical formula. The point. So we need to say insulin is CHON, okay, P. Things like that. You get the point? Things like that, ha? Mga kalangga ang hitad. Insulin hormone. Oh, it's hormone. So this is gonna be sulfur. Okay? Because hormone is driven by sulfur, not phosphorus. You get the point? Okay. Sorry for that. What makes me shocked, guys, is the number of atoms too much. Okay? So actually, this is sulfur, guys, ha? Okay. 6. So, may bomo, may sulfur, right? Chones. Okay, as I told you, chones, right? Hormones, like that. Okay? Okay, now, what is his partner? The glucagon hormone. Glucagon hormone. From the word itself, glucose regulation. It helps to regulate also the glucose prior from the insulin function in our pancreas. So we have here carbon 153 atoms, hydrogen 225, oxygen 49, nitrogen 43, o diba? Then sulfur. Sulfur is only 1 atom in glucagon. Wow. Really? Yes. Okay. Okay. So I beg your apology because my mind is always taking up the phosphorus. Okay. Number 4. Okay. Things like that. Now, we go back to the sugar. So, in study of sugar, we need to determine the word saccharides. Meaning saccharides family, are carbohydrates and group of sugars. Things like the saccharide. SACCHARIDS. Okay. So we need to say polysaccharides, meaning group of monosaccharides. Okay. So if we speak monosaccharides, okay, this is terminology familiarization. Okay. Monosaccharides, meaning these are all monosugars or simple sugars. Okay. Okay. Monosaccharides are monosugars and simple sugars, meaning to say monomer of sugars and simple sugars. Okay, things like that. So disaccharides. Okay, disaccharides. Okay. Meaning monosaccharides plus monosaccharides, or simple sugar plus simple sugar. So this is gonna be double sugar. Double sugar. Okay. Example, sucrose. Sucrose, the white sugar, the refined sugar, the manufactured sugar, the table sugar, the processed sugar, like that, is composed of glucose plus glucose. That's why it became a disaccharide, because glucose is a simple sugar. You add two simple sugar, or you add two monosugar, or you add two monosaccharides to have double sugar or disaccharide sugar. Okay, you get the point? So you can easily now determine. Now, it's not enough because I'm only telling the glucose. We need to be conversant, or we need to learn about other sugars. Okay. So, examples of monosaccharides. So this is the basic of sugar. Okay, so we don't deal yet with the complexity of sugar. We will teach you later on. You get the point? But we go first for this. So for monosaccharides, these are fructose, glucose, okay, and galactose. Okay, now in an examination in the future, we'll say enumerate at least 3 monosaccharides in the sugar family. Your answer will be fructose, glucose, galactose. If there's an enumeration question, not multiple choice, because we are bombarded with too much multiple choice questions all over the world, and we are very, very dependent. We cannot answer anymore if it is fill in the blanks, enumeration, essay, because we are dependent only on multiple choice, multiple choice, multiple choice. Multiple choice is not really the comprehensive way of learning. That's only butikaw, ikaw, things like that, okay? We need to go to the fill in the blanks, essay, okay, define, explain, enumerate, illustrate, like that. Okay, you get the point? Or calculation and computation. So this will be the total learning, not only the multiple choice. Okay? Things like that. So for our disaccharides, enumerate at least 3 disaccharides or double sugars. Okay, disaccharides. Okay. These are lactose, maltose, and sucrose. Okay, so I enumerated already 6 types of sugar: lactose, maltose, and sucrose. Now, okay, sucrose is very familiar. This is what the WHO told us, that this is the deadliest substance in the planet Earth due to the records of death rates. So many die in sugar-related, okay, consumption. Okay, so be careful with the sucrose, okay, because it's already manufactured, processed, like that. And this is a double sugar, glucose plus glucose, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now we need to determine the sources. Okay, for fructose, sources are corn syrup, like that. Okay, corn syrup, and we have also from the fruits. Okay, glucose sources are for the carbohydrates. The high carbohydrates, the low carbohydrates, or the high digestible carbohydrates, and the low digestible carbohydrates. Okay, and some fruits also and vegetables have glucose by default. Okay, natural, what I mean. Okay, galactose. Galactose can be found in the, sometimes in the milk. Milk. Okay, sometimes also in the, mammary gland. Okay, you get the point? And also in the breast of the woman, as in the milk, but not high percentage. It's only a combination for lactose, things like that. Okay, but there is also galactose in that. Okay, sometimes also, not sometimes, in ice cream have also galactose. Ice cream. Okay, things like that. Okay, so it's not only mainly from the milk or let's say the mammary gland or whatever. Okay, and also in the processing of, let's say, the drinks, they are using the malt, M-A-L-T. So there's also galactose there in fermentation industry. Galactose. Okay, things like that is a source. Okay, any which. So, asato. Now we have the lactose. So lactose is really for the milk. That's why this is a greater percentage in the milk. Okay, in the mother's breast, or or in the manufactured milk that we buy in the market. Okay, but there's a combination a little bit of lactose, galactose, but the more is lactose. Okay, now maltose is very clear. That is the sugar found in the malt, M-A-L-T. Okay, and there's also a little percentage in the fermentation industry. Actually, guys, there's a trace of percentage, but not very big. This galactose and lactose will be going together, but not really very obvious, only traces, point something like that. But, for example, if milk, lactose is the dominant sugar there. Like that. So that's why we don't take focus on the maltose, the lactose, but actually there are also percentage for that. Okay? Things like that. And sucrose is very popular, the one we use there. And also the fruits have also sucrose. Okay, the natural sucrose and fructose, like that. It's called the honey, sugar, has also sucrose, glucose, and fructose. Ganon. Okay? Now we take note of the isomers here. As what I told you yesterday, what is isomer? Isomers are compounds that have the same general formula, but sometimes differ in their application, uses, sources, like that, or orientation, how they are oriented in their structural formula. So, isomers, ani, is the fructose, glucose, and the lactose. So, formula, C6H12O6. Now, si glucose is not the only owner of this chemical formula. Fructose also is the owner of that formula. Galactose also is owner of that formula. That's why you don't need to rely always with the chemical formula. Go to the word. Fructose, glucose, galactose, like that. So for example, what is the molecular weight of fructose? Then you cannot answer anymore because you memorize only the glucose C6H12O6. You don't know the monosaccharides and the isomers of glucose. You get the point? So when you study, you need to maximize what's the same with this. The same behavior, the same molecular, so that you will not be mixed up. Because you only understand that the glucose all throughout. You get the point? Now, calculate the molecular weight of galactose. Or you also don't know. Because you don't know that they have the same formula with glucose. You get the point? So, glucose, okay, galactose and fructose are isomers with each other. The same general formula, but sometimes may differ or not the same in application uses, but sometimes also common uses. As a sugar, see? They're common. But sometimes they are not related because, galactose is not the sugar in the blood. Fructose is the sugar in the blood, only the glucose. That's why different application. Okay? You get the point? Things like that. And galactose is not the sugar found in the corn syrup, right? So that's what it means by isomers. You get the point? Now, alin na po kasagay-saccharides? Lactose, maltose, and sucrose. The same chemical formula. Carbon 12, H22O11. So if I will say, calculate the molar mass of lactose found in your mother's milk. Very simple question. Then without anything, without Google search engine, without books, how can you say that? If you don't have knowledge, you cannot answer. Because for me, that's easy chemistry question. Molecular weight, asking for molecular weight. The only difference is you are not familiar with the different substances. Okay? So, calculate the molecular weight of maltose in the fermentation industry. Okay, it's the same with carbon 12, H22O11 because lactose, maltose, sucrose are the owners of this general formula. It's not only the sucrose, but we are familiar because sucrose is, not also everybody because not all know this formula also with sucrose. Okay, unless we are science professionals, chemical engineers, chemists, biochemical engineers, medical science profession like a doctor, like that, medical technology, that we are very, very clever with the substances, formulas, and names. But for general public, it's not also expected that they know also the chemical formula of sucrose. 100%. Putol ko sa kong liog. If everybody knows about the formula of sucrose, even chemical engineers cannot remember this formula. It's the point, others. Okay. It's not a guarantee that if you're taking chemical engineering or chemist, you will know these things. It depends on the students' wide intelligence or stock knowledge and acquired knowledge. Okay, but common to the science professionals. Okay, things like that. Okay, you know already, monosaccharides, disaccharides, like that, blah, 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 so and so. So insulin, 257 atoms of carbon, 383 atoms of hydrogen, 77 atoms of oxygen, 65 atoms of nitrogen, 6 atoms of sulfur. Strange, right? For glucagon, 153 atoms of carbon, 235 atoms of hydrogen, 49 atoms of oxygen, 43 atoms of nitrogen, and there's no sulfur. Meaning 1 atom of sulfur only. Okay? Ganon. Okay, guys. And now let's go to other sugars. You want or not? Okay. Now, so let's maximize our learning about sugars. Get the point. Okay, where is my charos? My erasers, charos. I need to erase this because we go to another topic mga pala. Okay. Ano siyang papasa, no? Char. Okay. Erase this one. And now we go to the formulation of sugar as promised, which is CnH2n. Let's prove that I said there are exemptions and some also follows the rule. Okay, because in every rule, there must always be an exemption. Okay? There's no such absolute rule in the planet Earth. The same also with the substances. Okay? So,
the Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Okay guys, are we still alive? Yes. Welcome to my science and health topics. But this time it's going to be the topic of sugar. Okay. Now, so we need to follow this formula. H2N. Basta pa man. Chart. Wait. Okay. Wait mga palanging no? So, Cn, H2n, then On. Now, we will start also the same with the hydrocarbons. So, we will start in number 1 with 2 atoms of carbon. So, 2 times 2, 4. 2. So, C2H4 O2. What's this? Name this. Tank, 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 tank. Time is up. What is that chemical formula? C2H4O2. What's that? Is it? Okay, so we are saying that it's the formula of sugar. But in this case, if you have two atoms of carbon, this is not a sugar. This is acetic acid. Okay? Why? Because if we put this in this way, CH3COOH in organic style, and then in organic style we have HC2H3O2. The way how you declare that in different subjects, it matters also. In organic chemistry, that is CH3COOH, carboxylic O is very clear, carboxylic acid. Now, if you declare that in an organic chemistry, you will try to have the H as the emphasis of Arrhenius theory, that you try to react it with the acetate. That's why HC2H3O2 then yield H ions, then react to acetate, your polyatomic base. Okay, organic and organic. So this formula is the same for this. That is only arranging. So how can you prove that? Count the carbon atoms if it is matching. So 2 carbon atoms. So in C3COH, 1, 2. Hydrogen 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oxygen 2. 1, 2. Perfect. The same. Okay? And then HC2H3O2. Count the hydrogen. 3 plus 1, 4. 4. Okay. Oxygen 2, oxygen, okay. Carbon 2, okay. Correct. Now, this will become a strange for the students. Meaning, a rare situation in which will lead us to confusion. We will be perplexed. If that is the case, oh my gosh, there are 3 forms of the formula. Sometimes we will be misled in this kind of representation of our chemical formula. So that's why it's not advisable to plainly memorize how it is being oriented, how it is being put in that particular chemical formula. All you have to do is to determine the atoms like that, what elements are that. You need to remember. And also the functional group. Oh, since that is an acid, COOH because carboxylic acid. Things like that. Okay. Now, in this sugar, the 2 atoms of carbon fails. So, 2 atoms of carbon exempted in saying a sugar. 2 atoms of carbon fail. Okay, number 2. So, we go to 3 atoms of carbon using this formula of sugar general formula. So, C3. So, 2 times 3, 6. Then, 3. Okay. So, what is C3H6O3? Is that a sugar? So if you don't have really an idea about the chemical formula mastery, of course you will be lost in the outside world. So, since, for example, only, okay, for the specific viewers, if you're really taking chemistry, as your major, for example, education major in chemistry, teaching, then you need to be alerted with this, okay? Or BS Chemical Engineering, you need to be alerted to this. Or BS Chemistry student, you have to be alerted because you are studying chemistry for the rest of your studies. You get the point? Things like that. For others, it's not really that relevant, but only for an information. Okay, for people who specializes chemistry, then we need really to understand this perfectly. Okay, things like so. Is this a sugar or not? C3H6O3. Strange, right? So there's no sugar like this. So this is glyceraldehyde. Okay, glyceraldehyde. Okay, you get the point. Okay, guys, this is very important in the production of energy in the CO2 after the Krebs cycle in our cellular respiration topic in biology. So we need glyceraldehyde there. Okay, get the point? Things like that. Now, what's the formula of this glyceraldehyde? Okay, now there's aldehyde here, right? I already talked to you a while ago. What is an aldehyde? So R, C, double bond oxygen, H. Okay, now since there are three carbons, so you need only two carbons here, and you have alkyl group here, CH group. So I will say CH attachment, C double bond oxygen H. This I have already C. How many carbons I have? So three. So I need to have two more. One, two. So missing one. So you need to add. So C2. Like that. Then hydrogen. Okay, six. Ala. So only one here. I still not have to have more things. Like how can you do that? Okay, so I need to have more. I need to have four. Okay, so six here. Oh, so four, two here. So four. Balance. So C2H4. Okay, like that. Where is the oxygen? I need two more in the oxygen. Okay, so put CHO in your attachment because you have no choice anymore. We are only referring to the R attachment. Okay, you cannot add, you cannot touch the hydrogen. Hydrogen is not an alkyl group. Focus yourself to the alkyl group. So you will say C2H4O. Then how many oxygen here? Three. So missing one. So one, two. Okay, I need to add one like that. Okay, things like that. So CH4, C2H4O2 akong attachment sa R. Oh. Okay, C2H4O2, C double bond oxygen H. This is my glycerol and aldehyde level. But sir, it looks like strange. C2H4O2, it means acetic acid. In our first example, you mean sir that when we attach acetic acid in the aldehyde, it will become a glyceraldehyde? Of course, by the chemical reaction itself, it will be true. See? Okay, as long as when you count the carbon atoms and hydrogen atoms, oxygen atoms are always equal, and then you follow the functional group of aldehyde, then bingo. But what I'm trying to emphasize, there's a correct orientation of this attachment here. Okay, so how can we do that? Okay, how can we do that? Okay, so you will say like this, C3, ganon diba? H5, okay, then OH3, things like that. Okay, count the oxygen, perfect. Count the hydrogen, 6. Okay, count the hydrogen, 6. Okay. Oh sir, you have an 8 hydrogen, so it's more than, charot. So make it 3 here. Okay, now carbon, sir, it is correct? Yes, it is correct. Things like this. You will say C3H3 close and open parenthesis OH times 3. Think this. Okay, this is now your general formula. C3H3 close and open parenthesis OH3. Why it's correct? 3 atoms of carbon. Perfect. Hydrogen 6 atoms. Perfect. Oxygen 3 atoms. Perfect. You rearrange only to appropriate naming of a general formula. Okay? Things like that. Okay, mean to say, this C3H3 parenthesis OH3 is just the same saying C3H6O3. But you emphasized here the hydroxyl group. Why I need to explain this? Because an examination, they will say, how many hydroxide in a glyceraldehyde? Patay. Because you memorize only this C3H6O3. You cannot see the OH here. The only one to understand that is to make this appropriate formula with OH declaration here. Then how can you do that? Follow back the functional group. This one, structural group. So if the question like that, the examination like that, say, how many hydroxyl group are there in glyceraldehyde? A1, B2, C3, 4, 5. You don't have an idea. Why? At first, looking with the terminology, there's no word tri. There's no word di. There's no word penta. This can also help us detect. But in here, nothing prefix. See? No prefix. So how can we determine the 1, 2, 3 if there's no prefix? So no choice. We need to structure the formula. Okay, we need to have the other orientation that involves OH. So that is the technique. You get the point? Ganon. Because in this situation, you can have also the OH. Okay? Because sugar alcohol, okay, and sugar carbohydrates sometimes can be hybridized. Hybridization chemical reaction. And this is glyceraldehyde. It follows in the same pattern with glycerol, glycerin. Okay, get the point? So this glycerol, glycerin, glyceraldehyde follows the same pattern under hybridization reaction of a sugar molecule and an alcohol molecule. That's why when the examination said how many OH, we can answer by the fact and concept that that is alcohol molecule in combination of carbohydrates molecule. So we can determine the OH. But for other sugars, you don't be bothered. Okay, unless it's necessary to do so. You get the point? Ganon. Okay, let's go to number 3, erase. Okay, so you remember this one and put this in your brain cells. Okay, C4H8O4. Is this a sugar? So, 3 atoms of carbon failed. Okay? So what we're trying to do there is we're trying to follow the rule if it's still applicable from chronological order of the increasing number of carbon atoms. Okay, so 3 atoms of carbon fail. Okay? So the purpose of this is mastery, the mastery of learning the different chemical formulas or millions of chemical formulas, things like that. Okay, so that we have an idea. Though it's not perfect, as long as we have an idea. Okay, things like that. Get the point? Ganon. So C4. Okay, C4. The 4 times 2 H8 NO4. So C4H8O4. Is this a sugar or not? Okay. Is this a sugar or not? C4H8O4. We follow the standard general formula of sugar, which is CnH2NO. Yes, this is sugar. This is erythrose sugar. Erythrose. Okay, when you say eri, remember the carbon atoms 4, in your brain. Eri. So, 4 atoms din na siya per me. So, erythrose. And sugar ends in OSE. That's why erythrose. Okay, things like that. The same as glucose, OSE. The last 3 letters in the word. So, that is technique of sugar. Okay, so erythrose. And there's also another name for this, maximization of terminology. So we have threose. Okay, threose and also tetrose. Tetrose saccharides. Wow. Okay, now, let's say in the board examination, you say, what is the another name of erythrose? Nga. Because it's already too difficult, right? Okay, so this is really mastered when you are still in high school, in college. Because it cannot be done only by 1 month to learn these things. Really. Okay, it's an accumulation of the acquired knowledge and stock knowledge. Okay, for example, which of the following is not belong to the group? A. Erythrose. B. Threose. C. Tetrosaccharide. D. Erythritol. Because there's also erythritol. I will explain that later, Okay, so the answer will be, ang not belong to the group, erythritol. Okay, so this is sugar. So 4, so check. So 4 atoms carbon, check. Follow the rules of general formula of sugar. Now, go to 5. Number 4, say 5 atoms of carbon. C5, 2 times 5, H10. Okay, N5. Okay, this is my favorite of all the sugar. Why? I tell you, without these sugars, we will die. Okay? This one. And this sugar will be manufactured in our nucleus. Things like that. Then in the mitochondria, in our nucleus. Okay? the powerhouse of the cell is the mitochondria, in which this type of sugar will be manufactured and later on will be used and synthesized into our DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid in our gene. So our genes need sugar to survive. Okay, it's not only the nucleic basis of these amino acids, also sugar and phosphate group in the helical structure of our DNA. You get the point? So, kung saan siya nga sugar? Okay, this sugar is called ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar. Okay, deoxyribose sugar. Okay, and also, generally, these are called pentoses sugar. Pentoses sugar. Or pentose. Since plural, that's why pentoses. Okay, so N-O-S-E. Penta means 5 because we have 5 atoms of carbon. So this, the naming of prefix is very important to understand here. Penta, 5 atoms of carbon. So 3 letters OSE must be the ending. So pentose, that is singular. We are referring to plural. So pentoses. Right? So pentoses sugar. Example, ribose and deoxyribose. Now, ribose and deoxyribose are isomers with each other. Ribose are used in ribonucleic acid, RNA, the initial stage to produce our DNA. Okay, then deoxyribose sugar is really needed to our DNA. That's why we have D. D there is deoxy, meaning the deoxyribose sugar dominates in the naming. So, deoxyribonucleic acid. If there's no deoxyribose there, it will not be called deoxy. It's not DNA. It's not letter D. Maybe another also letter. Obviously, that represents the deoxyribose sugar. You get the point? Because that's the first letter of the deoxyribose term. Okay, DNA. Okay, so if the question in the examination will say, what is the specific sugar needed to build our DNA or the human being? The answer will be deoxyribose. Specific, no other answer all over the world. It's always deoxyribose. It's not glucose. Glucose has no contribution in our DNA. Get the point? Things like that. That's why it's bad to have more glucose. But it's not bad to have deoxyribose more because it's needed in our genes. Okay? You got the point? Meaning to say deoxyribose and ribose sugars are healthy sugars. Work for the people to withstand and to survive. But glucose is maybe bad if more than the level. You get the point? In our blood sugar. See? Things like that. Okay. So ribose sugar and deoxyribose sugar. And what else also? We have also cellulose. Cellulose like that. And also xylose. Okay. Things like that. Get the point? That's why we have also xylene compound because of this cellulose. Cellulose and xylose are also 5 atoms of carbon. Okay. Cellulose and xylose are isomers with each other. Ribose and deoxyribose are synonymous with each other and isomers with each other. So meaning to say, 5 atoms of carbon, check. It doesn't fill with the general formula of sugar. Okay. Number 5, we have 6 atoms of sugar. But before that, I need to discuss the formula of DNA. What is the chemical formula of DNA? Okay. So, any summa cum laude that could answer this? Okay. The formula of DNA, even summa cum laude cannot answer this. Okay. The chemical formula of DNA is, okay, this is carbon 15. Okay, H31. Oxygen 13. Ganon. So nitrogen will be 3. Oxygen will be 2. Ganon. Okay, things like that, huh? Okay, you got the point? This is for the DNA. Now, how about our, for example, our RNA? RNA. RNA are messengers, huh? Before they will be converted into DNA, they will manufactured well, the amino acids will be arranged properly, like that before it will become a DNA. Meaning initial stage na siya sa atong DNA. So if we don't have the correct and proper RNA build up, we don't have the DNA. Get the point? Because these are all about messengers before it will become the DNA inside our body. Okay, our genes. Okay, things like that. So we have here RNA, ribonucleic acid. Oh, so carbon. So 27 atoms of carbon. Hydrogen, 34 atoms. Oxygen, 22. Ganon. Then nitrogen will be 6 and oxygen will be 2. Ganon. Okay, that's the formula of RNA. So, so if the question in the future will say, give me the chemical formula of RNA. So perfect. Okay, give me the chemical formula of DNA. Perfect also. Or reverse, it will give you the chemical formula and you need to identify what substance is that. DNA, RNA, like that. Okay, so many substances, billions of substances in all over the world, right? Planet Earth. Okay, things like that. So, mag-share formula sa atong DNA. This one. Okay, and then RNA, this one. Okay, erase. So put that in your notebook. Okay, especially science students, huh? Okay, like that. Not too much of BS Physics, BS Chemistry, and Chemical Engineering. Okay, things like that. Okay, number 6. Our favorite of all, ang nagdam, bigat-bigat sa all sugars. So, kinsa may nagbigat-bigat sa sugar. So, let's see, number 5. 6 atoms of carbon. See? 2 times 6, 12. NO6. This is the glucose, our favorite. Okay, in the blood. Glucose. Okay. Glucose is the basic unit of a saccharide family. Glucose is the basic unit of carbohydrates family. Okay, things like that. Glucose is the building block of saccharide family. Glucose is the building block of carbohydrates. So the phrases will be like that in examination. You will never answer another sugar. It's always glucose. Blood is the sugar in the blood. Your answer will be glucose also. Okay, things like that. Glucose is checked. We don't deviate. And this is called hexose family. Hexose sugar. Since there's a lot, I said a while ago, fructose, galactose, the monosugars, okay, or the simple sugars. So, hexoses sugars. Okay, so check. Doesn't deviate our general formula for sugar. Okay, number 6. 7 atoms of carbon. Okay, nakakaloka, no? So, 7, C7. So, 2 times 7, H14. And then, O7. Is this a sugar? 7 atoms carbon, 14 atoms hydrogen, and 7 atoms of oxygen. Is this a sugar or not? Yes, this is a sugar in the heptose family. Heptoses sugar. Okay. Things like that. Number 7. We go now to the 8 atoms of carbon. Erase, right? Okay, guys. Okay, 8 atoms of carbon na tanong. Okay. In hydrocarbon, 8 atoms of carbon equivalent to octane family, that is the gasoline. Okay, 8 atoms of carbon and 18 atoms of hydrogen is the chemical formula of gasoline in running our cars. Okay, it needs only 8 atoms to run our car. Okay, if less than, nothing. Okay, it will not run. Okay. Now we have here, labasak pa siya guys. 8 atoms of carbon, nakakaloka. Diba guys? Okay, 8 atoms of carbon. So, C8, and our general formula, CN, H2N, ON. So 8. 8 times 2 times 8, 16. 8. So O8. Is this a sugar? Is having a sugar like this? Formula of C8H16O8 or not? In your own analysis, is existent or not? Okay. We have this as, it's not octoses. There's no octoses if you just only follow the pattern. This is octapyranose. Okay. So the pyranose will be applied from 8 above, the term pyranose. And then you will attach the prefix name, octa, because 8 means octa. Okay? Octopus, meaning to say 8 legs of an octopus. That's why 8. That's why it means octopus in the sea. Okay? The same also like this. If you say octopus, meaning 8, always. Okay? Octagon, meaning 8 sides of a polygon are equal. That's why octagon. The same here also. So, octa. Okay, so octabat pyranose, because this is a sugar. So octapyranose. Okay? Octagon. So check. We follow the rule. Okay, how about the 9 atoms of carbon? C9, 2 times N. H9O9. So it's gonna be C9, H18O9. Is this a sugar or not? Meaning in our topic today, we are enumerating the all types of sugar from 2 atoms carbon above. We're not limited to glucose only, okay, or sucrose. Okay, what's this? Is this a sugar or not? Yes, this is a sugar, okay? So this is called 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay? Octapyranose nunanal. I love this term really, guys. Kasi saya, no? So, you will use now nunanal. Wow. Nunanal. Why nunanal? Because 9 is nona. Okay? For example, the polygon consists of 9 sides equals nonagon. Like that. Okay. So here also, 9 carbon atoms, meaning to say, octapyranose nunanal. Why? Because you are carrying the 8, because 8 is a part of 9. It's under. It's like octapyranose nunanal. And then you have to put the numbers. It's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to distinguish the orientation of your carbon atoms in here in the 9 carbon atoms. Because there are already so many carbons. It's very difficult for you to trace where. It's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Octapyranose nunanal. Wow, so sharp. Okay, it's gonna be 9. Now, we go to 10. C10, 2 times 10, 20. Okay, C10, H2 times 10. Oh, is this a sugar or not? Tell me. Charot. Tell me, Jude. Yes. Okay, tell me, where did I go wrong? Charot. Okay. So 20, O, 10. So remember, we have the glycogen of C24, H42, and O21. That is too far, right? Okay, 10 pagod-tagod. Okay, mean to say, from 10 atoms to 23 atoms of carbon. Napatay taas pa kitang lakason, mabot pa tanig 1 million. 1 million carbon atoms like that. So the whole day will not be finished. Okay, so 10 atoms of carbon, 20 atoms of hydrogen, and oxygen 10 atoms. What's this? Is this a sugar or not? Okay, how can you say this, Charas? Guys, from 10 to 23 atoms of carbon, this is not a sugar anymore. Not sugar. Okay, so it doesn't follow the rules. Then count how many will follow the rules, then apply that in your study, in your memorization technique to familiarize the different sugars from 2 atoms carbon to 9 lang siya. Okay, things like that. But don't forget the glycogen, because glycogen is the storage of all the glucose sugars in our body. That our glucagon hormone and insulin hormone in our pancreas, okay, to maintain our healthy body. Okay, for our to maintaining our glycemic index at 55 to 70 level. Okay, get the point, things like that. Okay, now after this, we have also a complex sugar. Of course, ito na po sa complexity. So what are those complex sugars? Okay, so we have a lot of sugars that doesn't taste sweet. Okay, just like a starch. Hydrogenated starch hydrosylates. Like that. So this is a sugar alcohol that used in food industry so that it will be avoided to increase our blood pressure, so that people will buy these products will not gain weight. That's why hydrogenated starch hydrosylates. Okay, complex sugar na tano. Okay. So the world is surrounded with sugars, a lot. Okay, but ang nagarihari si glucose. Ang pinakabigaon sa tanan si glucose. Okay, now, we have here another sugar. Okay. Mudagay-day sa atong kaunuran, sa atong kadugoan, sa atong dugo, si glucose yun ang bikaon sa tanan. You got the point? Okay, now, we have here chitin sugar. Chitin. Chitin also is a complex sugar. What is the formula of chitin? Okay, chemical formula. Bisa ko lang, calculate the molecular weight of chitin with dissolved to water. Nga. Because we don't know what is chitin is. And the examination is closed book. Okay, closed mobile data. Then how can you Google? Then you cannot answer, right? So, chitin. The formula of chitin is C8H13O5 times N times N. Complicated, no? This N depends on the number of moles when it react to different materials in the stoichiometric relationship in like chemical calculations, right? We have 2 moles of blah blah blah. So this small letter N here. Okay? So meaning this is the empirical formula. There's no specific general formula of chitin. So once it will become more complex, you cannot say the specific really. It will move a lot, it will vary a lot. So you need to account the number of moles like that, okay? But this is the parent. So 8 atoms of carbon, 13 atoms of hydrogen, 5 atoms of oxygen, and 1 atom of nitrogen. So chitin, is this a sweet or not? Okay, so chitin is not sweet. Okay, so chitin is found, okay, at the backbone, okay, of beetles, like the small animals, caterpillars, like that, worm, like that. All this kind of small animals at their backbone, there's chitin there, sugar at their back. But the human being has no chitin. Only the small, like beetles, caterpillars, worm, etc. Okay, get the point, things like that at the back. Now, the scientists will try to do an analysis in the laboratory and experimental analysis. They will need to obtain the chitin to become really the chitin powder sugar. And now they will blend that into another product, for example, a thread. You know thread? THRED. Or nylon thread. Okay. So we have also chitin thread. Okay, so what is the faida and what is the benefit of chitin thread? Okay, the benefit of chitin thread, okay, is used in surgical operation. So the thread there is not made of nylon thread. Because if it is made of nylon thread, it will not be decomposed. Nylon and plastics and rubber are non-biodegradable. So the thread there is made of chitin. Okay, meaning after 1 month, it will decompose and broken down after your wound will be healed. So that's used in surgical operation. So if the question in the board examination will say, what sugar used in the surgical operation? Okay, your answer will be chitin. And there's a lot of sugars, A-cellulose, B-glycogen, D like that. Samok-samok lang itong uban ko. Okay, your answer will be chitin. Used in surgical operation as a thread. Okay, so if it is the case, if not chitin, then it will not decompose. Chitin will be decomposed because it is sugar. You get the point? Things like that. Okay. After a month, 2 months, like that, when your operation will be healed. Okay, things like that, ha? Okay. So interesting kasi chitin. I love it. Okay. So we have now glycogen, kalas. Now we go to cellubiose, sugar. So you need to put that in your notebook, all the sugar, ha? So that in examinations, you can really identify what's this sugar all about. I never encountered this in my whole life. Things like that. Okay, wait na. Sige lang balik-balik ni glucose, fructose, ug sucrose. Okay, so we have here cellubiose sugar. What do you mean by cellubiose sugar? Okay, this is the parent sugar of all the disaccharide sugar. The formula is carbon 12, H22O11. Okay, the same with sucrose, right? Sucrose and also maltose and lactose. So cellubiose also the same formula. Carbon 12. Ano say? Cellubiose is the isomer of sucrose, lactose, maltose. Ganon. Okay. Things like that. Now we go to another sugar. So many sugars, right? Okay. Now we go to sugar alcohol. This is my favorite. Sugar alcohol. What do you mean by sugar alcohol? It is an alcohol and at the same time it is a sugar. It looks like strange, right? So dual personality. Or let us say bisexual. Can act as a girl, can act as a boy. But here can act as an alcohol, can act also as a sugar. Okay, sugar, alcohol. What is the faida? What is the benefit? Okay, in our health. Okay, this is naturally occurring inside our body. This is trihydroxy alcohol. Trihydroxy. In your memorization, this will help a lot because trihydroxy, meaning there are three OH or hydroxyl. Okay, trihydroxy, alcohol. You get the point? So it would be easy for your structural formula, chemical formula, because the prefix will give you an idea. Okay, how many OH are there? Or how many carbons are there? So this is also a technique. You need to master the prefixes from 1 to 10. Okay? Let's say mono, di, tri, tetra, like the penta, hexa, or hepta, octo, nona, dodi. Okay, dodi meaning 12. Okay, and D meaning 10. See, decane, or 10 atoms of carbon. The noni decane, meaning 12 atoms of carbon. Dodecane. Okay, dodecane. So 12 atoms. Okay, dodi means 12 atoms. Okay, and D means 10. Decane, like that. Okay. So the point. Okay, masa ni siya trihydroxy, meaning trihydroxyl. Okay. So sugar alcohol. Okay, so this is the alcohol that all people needed in order for us to survive. Okay, it's not the ethyl alcohol. X. Okay. So we need sugar alcohol because there's a relationship with your triglycerides level. Okay, things like that. You get the point? So if we have triglycerides level, then we have already alcohol directly. So it's not necessary for us to drink wine, beer, whiskey in order for us to become alive. It's not a requirement. Ethyl alcohol is not a requirement. Okay, for the human body, the requirement is sugar alcohol. Klaro na. So when the doctor said the human being cannot survive without alcohol, That's specifically sugar alcohol, not ethyl alcohol, to be precise. Okay. Sayong sabi mo nga, kung di ta mabuhi kung walay ethyl alcohol, di pala inom. No, it's not. It's sugar alcohol really needed for us, not ethyl alcohol. Now, if you drink too much alcohol, did you notice that you will feel loss of your mind, loss of memory, you forgot, okay, you rape the woman, you do sex, like that, you cannot control, you sagpa the other people, then you are restless, you do illegal drugs, you steal, you do robbery, you out of control. Because the more presence of ethyl alcohol into your brain, because this is not a natural alcohol, it will destroy the functions of your central nervous system. Because your GABA neurotransmitters will be higher. Meaning, gamma aminobutyric acid. So this is a hormone that regulates your central nervous system. Once your ethyl alcohol will be higher, your GABA also will be higher. So the function of GABA is to off all the central nervous system activities and tasks. Now, if you keep drinking ethyl alcohol, then the GABA will be off. So you are not in good thinking already because the GABA off already entirely. You get the point? So this is the hormone needed in our central nervous system, our brain. Okay, things like that. Okay, you get the point mga palangga? Ganon. So this is our neurotransmitter in our brain. That's why if you're drinking too much, you will lose your mind. You will feel something wrong, you will sleep, you will become fatigued, you'll become tired, you do something bad. Okay, because this alcohol is not natural alcohol. Okay, the natural alcohol is the sugar alcohol, the trihydroxy alcohol, which is the glycerol and the methanol. Okay, but the methanol is highly suspected cancerous substance or carcinogenic. Okay, that's why we don't need methanol actually, but the process of fermentation is not really perfect. That's why there's still methanol will come to our body. Okay, get the point? Things like that. So, methanol is highly suspected carcinogen. Okay, based on research of Cancer Institute all over the world. Okay, it will be converted to formaldehyde. Later, it will be converted to formic acid. So, these are all poisonous and toxic substances. Okay, ganon. So dapat glycerol lang dyan ang naata. Of course, that's why we have triglycerides, right? Because that's natural. Get the point? Ganon. So, sugar alcohol is a general term, or trihydroxy alcohol. But the specific chemical term is glycerol or glycerin. Okay, glycerol or glycerin. Okay, they are both the same, but this glycerin is more on viscosity, meaning a little bit of fluid, and glycerol is a little bit of more liquid, but the same chemical formulation. Okay, so glycerin. Okay, meaning to say non-toxic. Oh, very good, right? Non-toxic. If toxic, then we will die. Okay, that's why. That's why the sugar alcohol is what we need. So non-toxic, odorless, okay, colorless, charot, wait. Okay, things like that. Okay, now it tastes sweet also. But we cannot taste physically because it's inside our body. Okay, it tastes sweet. Okay. You get the point? Mauna siya guys, ang atong glycerol, glycerin, our sugar alcohol. Okay, what is the benefit? Okay, another benefit for this, or let us say benefits and uses of our glycerol alcohol. Glycerol or sugar alcohol, this is also a sugar, that's why I explained part of sugar, right? Benefits and uses mga palangga, no? Okay, so what is the first uses? So it will use to treat wound and burns. So this is now the glycerol and glycerin industrially produced, artificially produced, manufactured. Okay, it's not already in our body. Okay, because substances are very easy to mimic and to follow. If we will just understand the existence of biotechnology, then we can copy that by using microorganisms to produce new species. That is the part of biotechnology study. So there's a lot of substances in our world now that is driven to GMOs, meaning genetically modified organisms. For example, if I have an apple which red, I want my apple to become green or to become black. Then through the process of biotechnology, using microorganisms to produce new species, I will have to modify that. So that is GMO substances. So that's why we can easily mimic substances naturally inside our body by having it processed industrially or manufactured it, okay, artificially prepared it outside from our body. So this is now used to treat wound and burns. Number two, what is also the uses for this? It's also, imagine, it's also used as a food additive. Okay, food additive as a sweetener. Wow, of course, that is, I told you, it's a sugar. Okay, sugar alcohol. Sweetener in food industry. Okay? So they will add also glycerol in that. Okay, get the point? Things like that. Okay, but this is not only the source of sugar. That's why you cannot see sometimes in the packaging because there's a lot of sugars I told you. Okay, but this is also one of the sugar in food additives for as a sweeteners in food industry. Another also. I think this is the common application of glycerol and glycerin. This is used as a humectants. Okay, humectant. Okay, what's humectant? Humectant in pharmaceuticals and drugs. Okay, nakakaloka ha. Okay, things like that. And drugs. What do you mean by this, guys? Humectant in pharmaceuticals and drugs. Okay, this is the reason why glycerin and glycerol is also an ingredient for making lotion, soap, shampoo, perfume, and other cosmetics technology because it is a humectant substance, meaning to say it will preserve, retain, and reduce the loss of moisture. Okay? Meaning to say, the water will not evaporate. Instead, it will be retained and absorbed to your system. So that's why your skin will not dry. Okay, when you put soap, right? When you put shampoo in your scalp, in your hair, so there's no dryness. Your hair will become soft, shiny, things like that. Because these are humectant substances. Most of the shampoos, okay, soaps, lotion, facial, ibutang sa itong noun. So, common nila na sila glycerin, okay, and glycerol substance. Okay, so these are the benefits and uses and the faida of our glycerol and glycerin. Upon knowing also the fact that this cannot malfunction our liver. Okay, because this is not a ethyl alcohol. This is sugar alcohol. You get the point. And another important faida also, before I forgot, for this glycerol also. Okay, go to our system, okay, it will not go directly to your large intestine. Okay, slowly, okay, your small intestine will receive that, right? When you take that one. I'm talking for the food in the number 2 because glycerol has many uses. Okay, so for example, if you take that in your system, then it will not stay longer in your small intestine. Okay, so meaning say it will not biga, it will not spread to the respiratory, it will not spread to the blood, but rather go to the large intestine, ready to be excreted. So it doesn't contribute toxins because direct going to large intestine, and after that it will be excreted as a waste. Okay, things like that. So that's also the benefit of sugar, alcohol, glycerol. Okay, things like that. Okay, so that means even though we will not drink alcoholic beverage, it's still okay because we have alcohol coming from the glycerol and glycerin or the sugar alcohol. You get the point? Ganon. Okay. Now, this is not only the sugar alcohols, we have a lot. This is only one. There's another also in which you'll be full or crazy with the formula. Okay? Things like that. Now, what I will be able to discuss here is the glycemic index. Okay. For example, if I will use, let's say, xylitol. Okay. Wow, gusto mo na xylitol. Wait. Okay. Grabe na matter. Xylitol. Meaning to say, I need to have a glycemic index that is very small. Okay. That's why this sugar alcohol are substitutes for the sucrose and the white sugar for some food beverage industry. Okay, so more of them are coming from erythritol in the food industry or beverage. They will change the sugar, the white sugar, during their manufacture and process into erythritol, charot. Okay, maltitol, charot, okay, and sorbitol. Ganon. Okay, so sa may formula aning kuan, erythritol, char. Okay. Because erythritol is 5% less than of its calories compared to the white sugar we use in our coffee. That's why we will use the erythritol. Okay. And now for the maltitol also, it's 60%, imagine, 60% less than calorie by the regular sugar. Okay, ganon, di ba? So, that's why some, not all, use these sugars as an alternative because if you try to fortify this also, it will not spike your blood pressure. It will not cause obesity and weight gain. Since the people are already aware that they don't want to be big, they don't want to be obese, and because of the records of WHO, so of course the manufacturers also will try to protect their products that it should be a healthy product in the first place, not only quality, not only environmental friendly, not only sustainable to the environment. Okay, so it should be also number one healthy because this is food, this is drink and food. People will receive this. Okay, things like that. It's not the same with the products that cannot be eaten, right? There's no issues of the health to the people because it's not taken internally. So we should be extra careful with all substances inside our body. Things will come into our body. When we ingest that into our body or take it into our body, things like that. Okay? So again, the reason of sugar alcohol, okay mga palangga, because this is hybrid compound, meaning to say it can act as a sugar molecule at the same time an alcohol molecule, as the name itself speaks. Okay, sugar molecule and carbohydrates molecule or sugar molecule. Okay, ito alcohol molecule. Okay, ganon dual characteristic. Okay, things like that. Okay. Sugar molecule and alcohol molecule. O, ganon. Okay? Things like that. Mo na siya nahitabo karon. Okay. Now, what are those? There are so many, guys. Okay, number one, we have the, isomalt. This is a sugar alcohol found in the malt, MALT. Okay, we have also the hydrogenated, this is what I discussed a while ago, hydrogenated starch, okay, hydrosylates, wow, hydrosylates, okay. Now we have the number 3, mannitol, okay. As you can notice, there is always OL because alcohol molecule, aside from being a sugar and a carbohydrate as well. So, mannitol, maltitol, wow, ikaw na. Lactitol, okay, lactitol, sorbitol, okay, xylitol, okay, like that, erythritol, okay, erythritol, and also galactitol. Okay, galactitol. Don't be worried in your memorization because most of them coming from the simple sugars and double sugar like maltose or maltitol. So you derive the maltose here or lactose, lactitol. So it's very easy to memorize. Okay, so like this erythritol. We have also erythro sugar. Oh, so erythritol. Galactose, we have also galactose, galactitol. The only difference is you put OL in the word. So these are also sugar alcohol or sugar carbohydrates. Okay. Ganon. So of them, which of the following has a very small glycemic index? Okay. Okay, so that there will be no problem of our blood sugar. Okay, and there's no blood pressure spike or increase. So what you will do for this also no diabetic, type 2 diabetic, if you will use this type of sugar. It is erythritol, only one. Very small glycemic index, very safe to the health. But this sugar alcohol substitute for the sugar is very expensive to buy. Okay? For example, you have stevia, sugar. Okay? Sucralose, Splenda, saccharin, neotamine, vantamate. There's a lot of sugars. Okay? Things like that. Okay, so one lang ang iyang kuan, guys. Okay, now how about the xylitol? Is 12. Okay, how about the sorbitol? This is 4. Lactitol, 2. Maltitol, 3. 2. Gapon siya. Okay, things like that. Okay? And then, okay. Then 35 ang iyang kuan. Maltitol. Okay, things like that. Okay? Okay, alam mo siya. Erythritol. Okay, and we have also xylitol and also maltitol. Maltitol is 35. Mannitol is only 2. Ganon. So, what about the glucose? What is the glycemic index ratio thereof? Okay, glucose. Okay, it's 100. Very big. That's why, that's the problem also. And sucrose also is 65. The higher the glycemic index, the higher the chance of hyperglycemia and hyperinsulinemia, the causes of cardiovascular diseases, obesity, type 2 diabetic, and other risk factors for your heart diseases. You get the point? Things like that. The atherosclerosis, the hardening of your artery. Okay, because of the improper and poor blood flow circulation. Okay, things like that. Get the point? Especially if you're having higher triglycerides level. Okay, ganon. So, the idea here is to reduce the blood pressure. Things like that. Get the point? And then it will go directly to the large intestine, so it will not spreading to other vital organs. It will go directly to the secretion process to be expelled as waste. This kind of sugar, like that. And there's no issue of obesity because lesser calories, as what I told you, things like that. So that's why these are the preferred substitute for sugars for all world-class food industries, because the local food industries are not also spending money for their products because it will not be imported or exported like that, no? Then what's the faida? Only the local people will buy. It's not circulated all over the world. Since it's circulated all over the world, then a lot of profit and revenue. Then they need to maintain the quality of their products, that it could reach the benchmark of higher quality, healthy to the people, environmental friendly, sustainable. Okay, sustainable. It will endure to how many years, like that, blah blah blah. The expiry and validity of the food. Okay, that's the point. Ganon. And the safety to environment as well. So this will be assessed, not only the quality. Okay. Especially the health of the people is the number one there, because this is the health products, food products, and green products. You get the point? Things like that. Okay, ganon. And the wastes are not too much issue because it will just go in the toilet. Okay, human wastes. This is not the same the waste of the factory or the industries that it will be undergoing into the landfill. landfill area, subject for incineration, then it will expel also carbon dioxide during burning process, problem. Okay, so again, it will be circulated back as pollutants, gas pollutants in our Mother Earth. Then also, increase the global warming and climate change will be there. So, human waste lang kasi siya eh. Okay, to the point, so it will be going to the septic tank. The wastes of this sugar, churro, and the food, and the drinks, because it is for human body only. Okay, got the point? Ganon. Okay, so this is sugar. So, the sugar also I will discuss last will be the cellulose. Okay, things like that guys ha. Cellulose. Okay. What is the formula of cellulose? Okay, cellulose is the most abundant organic compound in the planet Earth. So that is the description of a cellulose. Okay. Definitely that is the source of all sugars. Get the point? Cellulose is a polysaccharides, meaning banded of so many monosaccharides and disaccharides, and there's no specific formula. And now, Atas will be happy because there's no specific formula because of its heavy accumulation, abundance in the planet Earth. That's why the most abundant, right? So due to that fact, they cannot establish really the specific molecular weight as long as it is the most abundant organic compound or the heaviest organic compound, things like that. Okay, don't be confused with uranium because uranium is the heaviest element. Okay, heaviest element naturally occurring. But here, heaviest compound. Okay? Heaviest compound or abundant compound, cellulose. Okay? Heaviest element in the planet Earth, uranium. So we need to say uranium naturally occurring, not artificially. Because if you say artificially, there's so many radioactive having higher molecular weight than uranium. Okay? So we have the americium, lauricium, like that, noctium have, let us say, 294 grams per atom. It's higher, it's weightful than uranium. But why we said uranium is the heaviest element in the planet Earth? Because we are referring of naturally occurring element, not artificially prepared. Is that our point? Ganon. Pwede tayo maglalas because sometimes other elements are more than this uranium. Okay? Huwag ka ma-confuse mo. Ito ka na sa periodic table. Okay? If you will see the periodic table, it's not true because there's a lot of artificially prepared. Okay, the actinide series group of elements, the radioactive elements, declared in the last two rows of the periodic table. Okay, there are 26 elements, radioactive elements. Okay, things like that. Ganon. Oh, any question for that? All sugar and discuss na ako, no? Then we need to write the formula. Okay, what is the formula of erythritol? Andiyan na naman tayo. So, erythritol. Okay. So, knowing the molecular weight and knowing the formula, that's our basis for decomposition, chemical reaction. Okay, erythritol. Wala na kayo ko. Nahurot siya kung mga kuwan guys, no? Okay. Things like that. Okay, erythritol formula guys, no? Erythritol sama na siya. Okay, that is carbon chart. Nakaluha. Okay, wait sa guys ha. Kaya murag ni kuha na akong mga madra. Okay, kanilang siya. Erythritol, carbon 4H10O4. Erythritol. Okay, 4 atoms of carbon. Erythros, C4H8O4. Okay? Now, what is the formula of mannitol? Okay, mannitol. Okay, mannitol, C6, okay, H14O6. That is mannitol. So, mannitol is as isomer of sorbitol. So, parehas lang formula ni sorbitol. sorbetol. So these are sugars that are healthy. I'm talking now with the healthy sugars. Okay, sorbetol. Okay, C6H14O6. Okay, now what about ano sir, xylitol? Char. Okay, xylitol. So xylitol formula will be C5H12O5. That's xylitol. Okay, so how about the maltitol? So maltitol, charming, maltitol, lactitol, and galactitol. So the name sounds so strange and not familiar, but they are healthy sugars. You get the point? There's FIDA. So galactitol. Okay, this is gonna be carbon 12, H24O11. So maltitol, lactitol, galactitol. Oh, right? Things like that. Sucralose, saccharin, and stevia, some are related to sucrose. Okay, but stevia is a very good sugar also. Okay, but it's not really true sugar. It's always a non-nutritive sugar. What we mean there as a good in our health, because it doesn't contribute to obesity like that. But you know, that is not really a true sugar. What it means by non-nutritive sugar. You get the point? So then the aspartame also. Aspartame is not a sugar. This is NutraSweet sugar in the diet Pepsi, Coke Zero. So this is 200 times sweeter than the regular soft drinks or sugar. Okay? This aspartame. Okay. Then aspartame is very good to the health because we have phenylalanine as amino acids and we have also aspartic acids phenylalanine. So I mean to say it will make you fertile for during sexual sexual intercourse to produce baby because it will really improve the quality of your sperm cell, sperm count, increase the semen mobility, and also stimulates the more production of testosterone and estrogen, the female and male sex hormones. So we need to say, if you cannot bear a baby because you are baog or impotent, then just drink a lot of diet soda drinks because there's an aspartic acid. Okay, and phenylalanine for memory also. If you want to become intelligent, because phenylalanine also have learning and memory improvement and appetite. So these are the components of aspartame found in diet Pepsi. So their drinks, and this is not clearly explained also. Okay, to the general public, and I don't know. Okay. Okay, maybe if explain this too much, the regular soft drinks will not also be sold out. Okay? So that's why I think, okay? So to the persons or people who are keep on researching may know. Okay, but for the people who are not researching, okay, not the point things like that. Okay? The only drawback of soda drinks, diet, or zero calories are the presence of the conversion of methanol to formaldehyde to formic acid. Okay, because formic acid can increase the acidity of our blood. But it needs a lot of level of methanol to do that. In which impossible. Okay? Things like that. Just like the tomato. Tomato has pectin and lycopene. So this will decompose into methanol later on in the process. Okay, that's why it's not advisable to keep eating tomato also because it will convert to methanol later on. So it can cause bad in our body. Though tomato is a good source of vitamin A because it has beta carotene characteristic just like carrots, right? To avoid the blindness, you can see clearly like that, blah blah blah, so and so. But then tomato is not really that good compared to carrots. Okay? So because of the production of methanol. Okay, but both of them will produce also methanol, but only pectin for carrots. Because all fruits and vegetables have pectin, a substance that make them ripe, RIPE. So without pectin, there will be no ripe fruits for us to eat because the color will not change. You got the point, from green to orange, from green to yellow. So this pectin will convert to methanol, especially if so much bacteria. Clostridium botulinum. Okay, is the bacteria responsible for food poisoning. Okay, things like so. We need to kill this Clostridium botulinum so that we need to eliminate the toxins of these fruits and vegetables. But in case for processed foods, again, we need to eliminate this Clostridium botulinum, but we add preservative, sodium nitrites. Okay, because it's very important because that is a closed container. Things like that. You get the point? That through that, it can maintain the oxygen level inside the, because nitrate have oxygen. Nitrite, NO3, negative 1. There's 3 atoms of oxygen in the preservatives. At least the oxygen there will rounding for 1 year, 2 years, like, because that is a closed plastic, closed container. Then if there's no oxygen problem, right? Things like that. So it can kill also the Clostridium botulinum. And then to preserve that for how many years? And to maintain the color, and to maintain the flavor, and to maintain the taste, and that's the power of sodium nitrate. But the only problem, sodium nitrate also will create nitrosamine carcinogen substance. That's why canned goods, plastic goods are also bad for the health in excessive amount. Okay? Because of that issue. Okay? Nitrosamines. Okay? Nitrogen and hydrogen amine group. Okay, that's the reason why telling when we are still a kid that eating too much canned goods can cause cancer because of nitrosamine, specific carcinogenic substance. Okay, so that is the specific cancerous substance or carcinogen. Ganon. Diba? So, muna siya natabo, no? Now, charot, oy. So, ato na namin isagad ang atong mga nitrogen level. Okay, things like that. Okay. Now, di na siya sugar, guys. Ako na lang itundo ni yung appeal. Okay, so we have 3 types of amines, and then this can fortify to the reaction of nitrites inside the can. So we need to let the chemical reactions works here. So nitrites plus primary amine, nitrites plus secondary amine, nitrites plus tertiary amine. So this will produce carcinogen after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, like that. You get the point? Because they cannot escape. The nitrogen concentration cannot escape because that's closed. Okay? Closed container, the canned good and the plastic food. You get the point? Because if it is open, the taste also will be nothing. Okay? You get the point? If it react to air, the flavor will be not the same anymore, obviously, right? So that's why the preservatives will be there. Nakakaloka, diba? Okay. Ang atong primary amine, mauni siya. So R2NH2, ganon. O diba? Then R2NH. Then R3N. That's classification of our amines. RNH2, R2NH, R3N. So the primary means 1. That's why R1NH2. So the moment your alkyl group, this is alkyl, the R. So we have methylamine, ethanolamine, because the ethyl, there are the alkyl bonded with the amine. Okay? Things like propanolamine, like that, okay? Because the propyl there is the alkyl group in this primary amine category. You get the point? So 1,